Welcome everyone to Live to Be Well. I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin, and with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Micha and my Logan.
What's going on, daughter?
Hi, how are you?
I am good. You're looking all beautiful as usual. You know, you have your mother's smile. Bless God. Well, listen, Micha, thank you so much for, being here once again. And I've been wanting to talk about this particular topic. I want to say hello to everyone that's viewing and watching and who will be on YouTube and other social media platforms. Welcome to all of you. Now, Mike, I want to talk about dating, the myths and the realities of dating. All right. Okay. But I also want to throw something out there. Okay. I want to talk about having a checklist.
Okay.
And what's on that checklist? And can we check ourselves so much that we'll check ourselves right out of a relationship? And when you say, well, what do you mean by that, Dr. Kim? That everything has to be perfect for me to be with this person. They have to be a certain height. They have to be a certain dimension, a certain hue. They have to have so many letters behind their names, so many zeros behind their names. Is that really what we're looking at now in our society? So let's talk about the myths, the reality, and then I want to share some things on my checklist that I got from a few people that I interviewed. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, I want to talk about the book that your father and I wrote about relationships and dating. Can my relationship make it? It's an intensive care. Mm-hmm. Well, we got to look at that checklist too that's in that intensive care mode. So, Micha, you want to get us started? From your perspective, you have never been married.
No.
And you are single.
Yes.
And mommy's been married and I'm widowed. I'm single. All right. So let's talk it from two different perspectives. Okay. So let's talk it from your generation and where you are. All right. What's going on? Myths and realities.
Well, first oftentimes people tend to want on their list and require things on their list that they themselves are not.
Say that.
That's the first thing. First issue. You want someone to provide all of these things, but let's say something happens and the tables are turned. Will you be able to do that and handle it financially, emotionally, mentally, if you are not all the way together? I tell people all the time that your singleness is not a death sentence, nor is it a death wish. What it is preparation. It's that time for you to really develop and figure out who you are, what you want to be. Who someone is when they first get married at 25 is not the same person that they are at 45. And you have to understand that going in so that you're able to handle certain questions at 45 once you get married and come to the table with your spouse and say, hey, where are you right now?
That's right.
Where are you mentally right now? Where are we as a couple? Where are you as an individual? You can't ask those questions first without understanding and appreciating your singleness. Also, I literally just retweeted this. I saw this online today. There are some people who feel like I have to do this by a certain time. And it puts all this pressure and all this buildup. And oftentimes, it's not really even you. It's the people surrounding you. Every time you go to the family reunion, every time you go to church, every time you show up, when you getting married, where are your children? What da. And you're like, how am I? How's my career? What's going on with me? Stop trying to attach to me marriage. Here's an idea. What if I don't want to be married? If I don't want children? You assume, because that's your idea of family, that I have to have all this. What if I'm okay with just me and my dog? Because that's my family. What if I'm okay? Don't always assume that every time that you see someone single, every time that you see someone in a relationship and or in a marriage, that they want what you have that you sometimes are wishing that you didn't have because you're miserable. Allow someone to say to you and have the conversation, hey, are you even interested in getting married? Don't just assume as soon as they walk through the door, I'm just waiting for you to get married. I have other goals in life. What if I want to date for the rest of my life? That's my prerogative. If I choose to want to date for the rest of my life, that has nothing to do. I'm not going to get married to appease you. And I feel like a lot of people get married and have gotten married to appease the opinions of other people. That goes to the act of getting married and also who they marry, to appease the other people. And then you're at home married to this person because it looks good for the church directory and you're miserable. I'm going to say this, and hear me well. If you want that stripper, marry that stripper. If she's what makes you happy, fellas, do that. That's between you and her. If she gives you everything and you're like, you know what, I'm about to take you off that pole and I'm about to do that. Forget what everyone else says.
All right.
If you want to marry that truck driver, young lady, and he is good to you, when you've been with the basketball player, the football player, the lawyer, the doctor, and they don't put their hands on you, they done sexually assaulted you, they have disrespected you, they have made you feel less than, and then you meet that truck driver and he is showing you the beauty that you are, marry that truck driver.
Marry the truck driver. That's right.
Marry that garbage man. Because let me tell you something, and he goes to work every single day. He is not trash. Just because he picks up trash does not mean that he is trash.
That's right.
So oftentimes I feel like people in my generation, as of right now, I have a lot of single friends. I have a lot of married friends. I have friends that do have children. I have friends that don't have children. I hear it all. I hear it all. And I get information and I calculate it. I ask them, well, did you have a list? Did you go? Some of them say, yes, I got exactly what was on my list. I was in tune with the Holy Spirit. He gave me exactly what was on my list. And then some. I had some friends be like, man, forget that list. You meet somebody you connect with and you guys work that out. Here's the thing. You can, of all my relationships, I could be married to any one of those guys. I could have made it work if I wanted to. I didn't want to.
You didn't want to.
I didn't want to. Nothing against any of them. I mean, we're all good friends. But when I look back over it, I'm like, yeah, we made the right decision to just be friends. Because if I would have married them then, and then it would be now, how would I know that they would have been able to handle me going through cancer? How would I know they would have been able to handle me feeling like, listen, I'm really not where I want to be in my career and I want to move across country? How will I know? How would I have known that? So you know what? A lot of people in my generation, I think that the first thing has to be, whatever you're asking for someone else to be to you, be that to yourself. The second thing is, please do not feel like you have to get in to what other people want for you just to appease them, because they don't got to wake up with that person every day. They don't have to share with that person every day. They don't have to wake up and deal with these kids with this person every day. They don't got to do that. They got their own, or they don't got nothing at all. Or they may be bitter Betsy. Down, like just, oh man, like all of that. And they coming at you with some craziness because of their trauma, and they're putting that on you. Don't listen and take advice from everyone. Do how you feel it. Go to people that you trust for any type of, just not necessarily advice, but just let me just kind of get into your head a little bit. And then figure out for yourself, because every relationship, every marriage is different. Nobody should be trying to be goals with anybody else, because you're a different individual. I can look and admire Sierra and Russell Wilson, but best believe I may not want the responsibilities that they have. Yes, they're a beautiful couple. Yes, all of those things. But we only see a highlight.
We only see a highlight. That's right.
For years, everyone thought that Beyonce and Jay-Z had this beautiful relationship. And then it came out that Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. So it's like, yo, if Jay could cheat on Beyonce, who, like, come on. You got the beauties of Jennifer Lopez, who's gone from relationship to relationship to relationship, which is her prerogative. She's 52 and she's still trying to figure it out. You got Mariah Carey, who's in her 50s, two beautiful children, still trying to figure it out. She got a baby daddy who's continuing having children all over California. We got to stop looking at other people and wanting their lives.
Right.
That's not it. Do and be what's best for you so that you can have the life that you want for yourself. Period.
You know, we want to welcome Rachel Harris. Hello, Rachel. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Dr. Ricardo Brown. Hey, it's good to see you. Micha, that's Dr. Brown. Yes. Well, listen, okay, I want to bring out some issues, okay, from a mental health, psychological perspective, okay? interviewed some men, looking at my life, beyond 50 in my 60s. Okay. So men, this is what men say they want. Okay. They want conversation, to be able to communicate in a healthy manner. All right. They want, okay, hold on now, spirituality. And let me say this, men, now this is my new book that's coming out, and you need to get my new book. Men and women want relationships, Micha, but they don't know how to be relational.
Yeah.
Don't know how to nurture. And I'm not saying everyone. Don't know how to nurture, how to be able to be a partner, how to communicate, how to be soft, how to be gentle, how not to beat a man down, and how not to beat that woman down. So spiritual, I wanted and I still want a spiritual partner. And I agree with you. And then let me say, ladies and gentlemen, I've never pressured, I don't think. Oh, well, I did talk about it a lot, getting my dress for your wedding. But I've never pressured my girls to get married. I've never done that, And I won't go publicly to say that. All right. I want to build with you. I remember when I met Daddy said, I want to grow with you. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. And I went to Grandma Micha, and Grandma said, he gave you the right answer. He wants to grow. Right. And you're right. I can date someone, companionship. Men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s are saying they want companionship, not necessarily marriage. They want spiritual bond. They want someone who has good credit. They don't want to carry someone else's responsibility. Okay. Mm-hmm. They want someone they can be physically active with. They want someone who is who can dialogue, who can compromise, who now let me say this, Micha. We are usually captivated through the first process of physical. When we meet someone, that's the captivation process. It starts with the captivation process. Right. Your physical attributes. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you, what's a deal breaker? People say, Dr. Logan, this is a deal breaker. A deal breaker is a person who's abusive. That's a deal breaker for me. Mm-hmm. Mentally, physically, verbally. That's a deal breaker. Another deal breaker is a person who has addictions. All right. That's a deal breaker for me. All right. If you're not going to be upfront and honest about that, or you're trying to get help with that addiction, but don't take my choice away from me by keeping it a secret. Right. Secrets destroy relationships. Okay. Think about your core values. What are your core values? And that means, again, being able to look at how I am treated as a person, how I want you to be treated. And relationships go through different aspects. They go through ups and downs. They go through battles. Pick your battles. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, even though you may go through a tumultuous situation, I'm not just going to walk away. All couples go through things. All right. Don't just walk away and give up. And I said this earlier, Micha, your checklist can be so long that you'll check yourself right out of a relationship. Right. And all the do's and don'ts, he's got to have check off, check off, check off, check off. But then at the end of the day, is he kind? Is he nice? Is he nurturing? Is he supportive? You may not have 7 figures, but you're able to go to the grocery store and you're able to pick up the dinner for the night, or dinner for the week, groceries for the week. You may not be able to pay this particular or pay a mortgage, but you will contribute to the other bills of the house. All right. So we've got to be mindful what's on our checklist. Now there's standardized checklists, Micha, where you say, I am not giving in to this. Hygiene is not something I'm going to compromise on. All right. I want a man who has good hygiene. I want a man that is, who can communicate. You smiled earlier. A lot of men have difficulty communicating their needs, their wants, their desires. They're not as verbal as women. But then women can be so verbal that it can push a man right out of the relationship. So we have to find the necessary balance. And so I'm looking at how important is your checklist. Can I read some of the things that people wrote on our question today? All right. Mm-hmm. Now, this is from Teresa Petaway. Thank you, Teresa. Financially stable with a plan. She said with a plan. So that could be an entrepreneur, all right? Friendship, all right? She said family oriented, okay? Loves to travel, secure within his own manhood, loves to laugh, okay? Someone who loves to laugh. Now, let's go down to Vanessa. All right, she said that love and is obedient to the Father God, likes to travel, the priest of her household, protector, provider, affectionate, humorous, and a good kisser. Yes, she did say that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now let's go down to Lady M. Must form a friendship and have his own hobbies. Be honest, able to trust him with my vulnerabilities. Optimistic, communicate to understand, not be right. Willing to resolve issues, respectful, mature, sense of humor, kind, and financially literate. All right. Al Rogers said a checklist is a guideline. If you make it mandatory, you may miss out on the opportunity for love or growth. Okay. Thank you all for your comments thus far. So, I believe that these things are all important. However, your checklist or what your needs are may not be what I need. And Micha is right. Everyone must understand you must look at what your needs are. Lady M, I got what I asked for, but I wasn't specific enough. That's interesting. So looking at my core values, am I looking at just a physical, or I want money bags, or like you said, these people got all this life, and you say to yourself, wow, underneath it all, that woman is being abused. That woman's being neglected. That woman's being cheated on. And listen to me, men, even though you may not have what that woman may have, she may have 7 figures, 6 figures. But whatever you bring to the table, bring honesty to the table. And be kind to that woman. Be loving, be respectful. And you can work that out. You'll work it out. Whoever said that the man has to have 7 figures, whoever said the man has to have the woman can't have the 6, 7 figures, and work to build that man up. Okay. So let's look at the myths. The myth is that I need to have a man that has, he has to be taller than me. Michael, how tall are you?
5'2", but I'm not dating nobody 5'7" or 5'9" or under. That's my preference.
What's your preference? 6 feet?
6 feet and higher.
Why 6 feet and higher?
That's my preference. It always has been.
It's always been your preference.
Always. From high school, I have dated under 6 feet, but I'm always like 6 feet and up.
6 feet and up. That's your preference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My preference, 5'11", 5'9", 5'10", 5'11". He could be the same height as me. I don't care. You know? Because I'm short.
That's fine. 6 feet and up is mine.
Okay. Would you date outside of your race?
I have. I wouldn't now, though.
You wouldn't now.
It's not the season for that.
It's not the season for that. Okay. Look, you all listening to Micha right now? Okay. Here we go now. She said it is not the season for that. Black Lives Matters. Okay.
I don't judge anyone that does it, but as for me and mine, it's not the season.
It's not. Okay. How would you feel if I, dated a man that wasn't African American? I couldn't bring him to Thanksgiving dinner.
I mean, no, I don't. I'm not. Let me be clear. If that's what you wanted to do, if he was a nice guy, I would be looking at you like I would have to ask him, does he understand and what his views were? Because at the end of the day, the core of majority, they don't understand our blackness.
They don't understand.
No matter how much, I mean, you can explain. I would have to have conversations with him to really understand. Make sure he understood what it is to date and be with a Black woman and be surrounded by Black culture. Here's the thing. I don't need you to act Black. You just be white. I just need you to have understanding, and I need you to have respect.
Have respect for the culture. Well, I'm not crossed over, so we can relax on that note. Amen.
So it's fine.
Good evening, Adrienne. It's good to see you, my Ohio sister. Mine too, Micah. 6 feet or taller. I like darker skin tone than myself.
Oh, no.
Lady M, you light skin. So, Micah, what's your preference?
Daddy's complexion.
You prefer daddy's complexion
And higher.
and higher and what? Daddy's complexion and lighter?
Mm-hmm.
Really? You might. That's almost white, Micah. Daddy was light.
But here's the thing. But I can appreciate a chocolate brother too.
You appreciate chocolate brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you ask for my preference, any of my friends will tell you they know what my preference. Like, all of my friends can look at a guy and be like, "Yeah, that's you."
That's you. I have a type too, though. You know, I have a type. People say all the time. Everybody has a type. You know, I like a well-dressed man.
It or not, they have a type.
Everybody has a type. Okay. What about does he need to make 6 or 7 figures, have his own home, car, all of that? You would prefer that. That's a preference. Health. What about health-wise? Would you marry a man and you know that he has some health issues?
What type of health issues?
It could be a heart condition. It could be a liver condition. Would you marry a person or date a person with a health condition?
I mean, I have a health condition.
I have a health condition. That's right.
I can't be, you know what I'm saying? I would just really enforce healthy living.
So I would date someone who had cancer because I've had cancer.
Prolong the lifespan. I don't know if I would, if they had it. I don't know if I could date anyone that had a terminal situation because I've literally watched too many people literally die, like last breaths. And I don't believe that I could ever go through that again. So no, I know I never want to go through that again. So, I mean, I have a hard time thinking about like when my dog passes, like that makes me super sad. So I don't think I could be with anyone that I knew had this amount of time left. I think that what I would do though, what we could do, I would make sure he had the best. If we were in love, he would have the best life of his remaining time.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, you know, I understand.
Yeah. So I don't know. But if that's who God had for me and that's what it was, then so be it. But let's be clear, that is not a prayer of mine. So
why is it that some people don't like the term dating? They like, courtship, or like companionship. It's just interchangeable.
The dating's fine. It's marriage and companionship. Marriage versus
companionship. That's correct. Dating. Right.
I have to go back to something though. On this from talking to gentlemen, what I really found interesting, I don't know the age group of the men that you asked.
Right.
But a lot of the men that I talk to, their number one thing that they need is respect. Men need respect and women need love.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's not to say that women don't need respect, but women tend to create and that realm of love more to speak on love more than respect. When men tend to speak on respect more than love, not that they don't love you, because they do, because we all know when a man falls in love with you, that's it. You can't mess up, ladies. You can't do nothing. Now they can mess up all day, 24/7. They can do whatever, this, that, and the third. But as soon as a man falls in love with you, as a woman, you know you can't do nothing. Because I took all this time to da-da-da-da. And I'm at a point in my life where I feel like, and I don't understand this, it should not, I'm going to say this, I have to say this like I'm talking to you all and not my homegirls. I am tired of having to fight Black men, I love my brothers, to love us back. It's like we got to jump through hoops
to get them to love us.
Get them to love us. And like I just said, and then when they do, it's as if it's this, once I do this, you can't do nothing. First of all, I'm human. Second of all, I made a choice, because everything comes down to a choice. If you choose to stay with a man that has cheated on you, has done you wrong, and all those are your choices. That don't be mad at nobody but yourself. Now, when he decides he wants to love you and do right and da-da-da-da-da-da, it is not okay for you to be like, but I stayed with you when you were doing X, Y, and Z. That was your choice.
That was a choice. Don't bring that back up to him.
Could have left. That was a choice. Don't do that. It's hard. It's easier said than done. But I really need us as healthy, strong, even weak because it is a strength in our weaknesses. To understand, like, if you make a choice to stay in a situation and that man does change on his own because he finally sees whatever he needed to see out of you, do not throw in his face what he did in the past. Because if that was the case, why are y'all still together?
And vice versa. Don't bring that up what she did in the past.
It goes both ways.
Well, it goes both ways.
I found it very interesting that the men that you asked didn't speak about respect.
Oh, they did. I just hadn't gotten to it.
Oh, okay.
Respect was on the list. Respect was one of the core values. At
the top, like number one. Most of the guys I talk to, that is their main. It's respect. So men and women definitely different in all aspects.
Right.
When we talk about deal breakers, certain things. Here's the thing: if you meet a dude and you got 50 things on your list, right? And he got 48. And the two that he's missing is his teeth are bad and his skin is bad. Baby girl, you can get that fixed, right? You can get his teeth fixed, right? You can take him to a dermatologist, right? Like, don't sit over there and dwell. Oh my God, his teeth are so messed up. Oh girl, he got his skin bad. I just can't even look at. If it's that, take him to a dermatologist, because he might not have ever been to one. He may not even know what going to a good dentist is. Take him down to the Dominican Republic. Get him some whole new mouth. Don't take gold out. Take all them teeth. Get him a whole new pearly whites.
That's right. That's why they make dentures. They got dentures. That's why they got dentures.
Love that man. Oftentimes we get, and like I said, I have friends that have lists, and they have gotten they have been sold everything and then some off of their list. I've had friends that have only gotten a little bit off the list. I've had friends that have said, you know what? Let me go back and rework my list because I've changed as a person. So let me go back and rework my list. Then I have people that say, you know what? Yeah, he didn't have everything.
That's right.
Things that mattered.
Yeah, things that mattered.
He had the things that mattered.
That's right.
And that other stuff, we can work on that. If he can't dress, child, dress him.
Dress him. Amen. Amen.
Dress him. It is okay. Like, it's just so interesting how we've allowed society to tell us how to be, how to date, what to do, all of these things. And it's like, if you know who you are as an individual, you will not have to rely on all these outside sources, even us, to tell you what you need and what you don't need in a relationship. Like, and that's the thing. Love comes and goes. Love. I learned this in junior high school. Love is not based on feelings, because feelings come and go. Love is based on emotional. You have to have the right core principles when you are in foundation, when you are with someone, because today I can love you and tomorrow I may not.
That's right.
More than anything, do I like you?
Now that's a good point. Let me interrupt you there. I want to say hi to April. Hi, baby April. And Lakina, thank you. And Lady M, and all of you that are still watching and making your comments. I want to go back to two things, Micha, that you said. That sometimes, we love so hard. And once we love, we want that reciprocated. And then we wait and listen. We sit by the phone. And then the brother will say, I don't expect you to be twiddling your fingers waiting on me. But in the back of his mind, I'm hoping that you're waiting on me.
Right.
And yet you can't communicate. And then there are brothers who say, I'm not ready. I can appreciate a brother who says, I'm not ready. I need more time.
Because if a man tells you that he is not ready for marriage, to date, please believe him.
You better believe him and stand down, stand back. Don't put pressure on that man. Leave him alone, walk away, go and date someone else. So this is what happens, honey. Oh, yes, Lakina. Stand down. Everybody stand down. There's a difference between love and in love. You're right, Ennis. I can love a brother. I can love, a cat or a dog, but I'm going to be in love with my person.
Being in love means being invested.
It's being invested. I like that, Micha. I like that. Being invested. The second thing that you said that, when you look at your relationship, you need to recognize who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I got it, Daddy and I had our differences and we
Mm-hmm.
argue sometimes. Daddy and I did not walk away. We forgave and we loved, and I took care of a terminally ill person. It's very difficult. And Michael, one of my biggest fears, I'm gonna put it out there. I was telling someone today, I put up walls. And sometimes I will be agitated or angry, and I'll be mean, or not mean, but I'll be like,
No.
just be mean. I could beat a brother down.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what it really was, Micah?
You were scared to lose him.
I was scared to lose the brother, but also, afraid to, you got to say it. You got to say that you care. And you can't put these walls up. You can't beat a woman or a man down. Just be honest.
But I think that's something that is innate especially for women. It goes all the way back to slavery.
Mm-hmm.
We had to carry so much on our back that there was never enough room for us to be vulnerable. Even though it was expected of us as women to be that. For Black women, I was having a conversation with one of my married friends, and I had said something. He was like, "That's it right there." He was like, "That's your problem." I said, "What's my problem?" He said, he was like, "You're so scared to be vulnerable." He was like, when all that's really what he was like, you're asking for that a man to be vulnerable. He was like, but then here you are talking about you don't want to do this, that, and the third because you don't want to come across as giving. He was like, why not? He was like, if that's who you authentically are, be that authentically. He was like, because here's the thing, where you're not being that authentically, he's like, it's you hear the phrase, what you won't do, someone else will do. And sometimes it's in a sexual way, but it's also in an emotional way. And if there's a man out there or it's a woman out there that's wanting you to communicate, to be vulnerable, to be this, that, and the third emotionally, and you can't, they're going to go and get that, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, from someone else. I remember when Daddy, it was early on in you all's marriage. I'll never forget. I was in the living room right behind you, and you were upset about something. Oh, you were going in, and I was downstairs by the piano, and I was just listening. And I remember Daddy coming downstairs, and this is when at this time where I really wasn't sure about who this man was, like who this man my mama just married. And but I remember stopping him because he was mad. He was about to leave, and he was just, I said, hey, bro. I said, you're going to have to put your big boy pants up. I said, you can't let her talk to you like that. I said, you got to talk back. And he just looked at me like, I said, you're going to have to talk back. And he kind of chuckled, and he went out the door. And after that, I remember y'all got into something else, and my boy went in, and I was in the background like, yeah. Mainly because I'm like, yo, like, you have to understand who you with. Like, if you don't, like, she gonna say whatever, and you got to be able to handle it. And I knew he had it in him, but because Dad was such a sensitive, sweet, calm guy, and man, and so
and I'm aggressive, and
you were,
that doesn't make me a bad person.
Type A personality.
Type A.
I was like, yo, you can't let her do that, bro. You gotta.
And you know what Daddy said? Daddy said, you get what you want. You always win, Kim, but I don't have a problem with you winning. Just respect.
See?
Do it with respect. That's what Daddy said.
Respect.
I will give you anything. I'll work my back to the bone, but just respect me. Is there a way for you to say this? And he said, and respect me in front of my girls. You know, that was important.
Daddy had to pull me aside. I was talking to one of my boyfriends I bought home, or somebody I was talking to, or just man, period. And even when he and I would play fight, Daddy had to like stop and be like, listen, I can't have you out here doing this and being hard. Like, because the women in our family, and it goes back to what they saw from Grandpa Lessamore. So you got to think what Grandma, Aunt Susie, and all of them saw with Grandpa Lessamore. That created walls for them. So then they brought those walls into their marriages, and then that stuff carried on to the women. So then here we are, the generation of my generation, me, Jessica, so forth and so on. We have those certain things. So Daddy said, no, not you. I never forget it. In the living room, sat me down. And he said, this is what I need you to hear. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me. And he explained to me how men listen. He explained to me You can't say whatever to a man and then think you can come back and just apologize as if you did not just rip that man's soul out.
Right,
It don't work
right,
like that.
right.
You can't say whatever. He's like, I have a slick mouth. I do. Especially when I talk to men. I will go in. Daddy had to like reel me in. Now I'll still do it if I need to.
Right.
But I'm very conscious in dating situations. Let me just take a step back because I don't want to say anything that tears this man down, tears his soul down, that I got to come back later and apologize for. But the damage has already been done.
But my thing, yes, he was, Micah. He showed me a side of him when he addressed my husband. I gave him a hand clap. She did. Let me say this. Yes, the damage is already done. But one thing Daddy did say, those times that I disrespected him, he said, I know you are in fear.
Yeah.
That's what he would say to me. He said, as long as I know why. See, a lot of times men and women don't know the source of that pain or those words or why you beat me down or why you know, I'm tired, I'm exhausted of fighting with you.
It doesn't excuse it.
You know, it doesn't excuse it, but at least you know why that person, childhood trauma or depression or fear, anxiety, or these walls that have gone up or the fear. One of my biggest fear of getting remarried, Micah, I don't want to watch another spouse die. I saw it, but I can't live in that fear. I still need to understand and look at what I need now and, you know, what's healthy for me and what's good for my children. Right. So what we have to do is, I don't want to live with apologies. I don't want to live with apologies. Right. I want to live my life with or without a checklist. At my age, checklist is out the window. All right. Checklist is out the window because I have standards, expectations, and value and core values. But what I have learned, Micah, through Daddy and through my relationship with him is to respect. And I made mistakes. We all have in our marriage relationship. You know, that's why we wrote this book, Intensive Care. Right. Can my relationship survive or not? And one of the things that we talked about was avoiding relapse, how to avoid repeating the same patterns. And you have to recognize what those patterns are, and you have to address those patterns. It's a vicious cycle, repetitive cycle. So I want to break the cycle. And this is what it says. In order to avoid a relapse, it's important to nurture the relationship, the person, with a regular regimen. One area that requires consistent attention is to confirm that nurturing is being provided to that person that you're in a relationship with. Many couples are offended because they are neglected. They don't receive the supply that is needed to have a healthy, loving relationship. Sometimes the same process is needed for individuals who are dating, even though they have not crossed the line into marriage. You still need to have healthy boundaries, healthy relationships, and establish healthy responses.
That's good. Yeah, how you respond to a thing is definitely important.
You need to get this book. Order this book.
But all of this goes back. Healthy dating. You can't have a healthy relationship if you're not a healthy individual.
Right. Oh, say that.
Back in the day, it was Jerry Maguire. And it was a line in Jerry Maguire where he was like, "You complete me." And for years that bothered me. Because I'm like, nah, I should already come into a situation completed and whole. It is not anyone else's responsibility to make you whole and to complete you. It is your responsibility. And that's the problem. We make it seem like it's someone else's responsibility, and then we're trying to hold them accountable for some stuff that you should have been taking care of in your singleness.
Clean it out. And let me say this. You are not responsible for anyone's happiness. You are responsible for your happiness. I feel that I'm responsible still to contribute to my children. But when it comes to me coming into a relationship, you need to be healthy. You need to be whole. I need to be healthy and whole as possible. And we bring our happiness together to complement one another. That's why I said, if that man is not ready or that woman is not ready for that relationship, you have to walk away. No matter how bad it hurts, you want it, you see it, walk away. And if that person comes back to you, they may need a break.
Yeah.
Give them the break
Give
that
them
they need, but still continue to communicate. Still go out on a date if you both are mutually able to do that. But watch that person and watch how they are changing. Give people an opportunity to heal, to grow, to change. And that's what I feel is so important, that's lacking today. That this one man said, build with me. Can you build with me? Daddy's word was, I want someone to grow with. But the men I interviewed, I want to build with someone. And I want to date. I need a man, I need a woman to respect me and respect my words. And another thing, ladies, we need to allow the man to have a voice. Stop cutting him off.
Mm-hmm.
Let him get his words out. Let him get his thoughts out. Let him express himself. And then you're able to say what you need to say. I say this all the time, Kina.
Going back to, I remember there was a conversation with Will and Jada Smith. And Will was saying how he was giving Jada everything under the sun. He said he remembers throwing her this big, elaborate birthday party. I think it was for her 40th or something. Maybe it was her 30th or 40th. And thinking that like this was everything in the world, invited all these great people. I mean, all the bells and whistles. And Jada said she went into a room and she just cried. And it was in that moment when Will had to realize that he didn't do that party for her. He did it for his ego. Then he realized there was literally nothing that he could do to make her happy because she wasn't happy within herself. So he told her, go, do whatever you need to do. Go get your happiness. Make sure you come back here. Jada went and did whatever she needed to do. That was her business. Okay. That was between them and their marriage. But I love the honesty of realizing like, I can't do it for her. I thought that I could. My ego thought that I could. Yeah. But the reality of the situation was I couldn't. Mm-hmm. Now, had they figured this out early on when they first got married, it probably would have had, fixed a lot of things, but that's not their story. Mm-hmm. But for those of us who are out here single and who are, if you still have a strong desire and you still believe in marriage, I know that social media and society has put out there that marriage is trash, that marriage doesn't have anything, da-da-da. But if you are wholeheartedly still believing in the sanction of marriage, kudos to you. Hold on to that. But while you're holding on to it, please discover who you are in every way, shape, or form. Because when you know who you are, you will be able to pick out and see what's coming for you, the good, the bad, the ugly. You will be able to say, welcome. Or you'll be able to say, nah, I'm straight player.
That's right.
And I want.
Don't go.
My friend Carlisha says this. She says, red flags are real. Times them by 10. If you see someone with a red flag, times it by 10. Because here's the thing. What you see is really not the whole thing.
It's not the whole picture.
By 10. And when you times it by 10, if it's more than if it starts going up, just walk away. Don't even put yourself through it. But in order for you to even recognize any of that,
you have to know yourself.
Women, you have to know who you are. Here's the thing. Men are manipulative. Females are manipulative. People want what they want when they want it, and they'll get it however they can get it. And that means even your heart. They will play with it. Don't let nobody play with you. And don't play with yourself.
Let me say this. I appreciate, you all see my beautiful daughter and her vivaciousness and her energy. And she's real because this is what she saw in her home, a relationship. And she saw the reality of a relationship. I have got to meet ML6. Come on now. All right. We're going to have to make that happen for you, Marissa. All right. But the bottom line is forgiveness is still possible.
It is.
In your relationship, whether you've been seeing someone or you are dating someone and you are in a valley right now, mm-hmm. Don't throw out the good that could develop mm-hmm. because that person did disrespect you or did beat you down or did do so, or like you said, they may have cheated on you. They may have walked out on you, or they may have said, I can't do this right now. But mm-hmm. Yeah, we still cool, brother. We still cool, but I'm happy within myself.
Right.
The other day I discovered TikTok, Micha. All right.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you see my page. And I was making some videos, and I love my God's hands of praise. And I was making some videos, and people have loved my videos. And they were talking about, we need Dr. Kim on TikTok. And I said, I don't have time. I'm busy with other things. But once I started putting those videos up about relationships, about, being matters of the heart, avoidance, personality, depression, anxiety, stress, someone who's bringing 40 years of experience, not just experience, but who's bringing hard, information and credentials,
right,
and who's licensed.
right.
But these things have touched people's heart. And the one thing I talked about the other day was forgiveness. There's power in forgiveness. In your relationship, you must humble yourself as Christ, and you must be willing to forgive, because you could be walking away from someone who could be your soulmate because you couldn't forgive. Pride going before the fall. I agree with Micha. Know who you are. Respect the brothers, please, ladies. And that goes for me too. Respect the brothers. Men, respect us as women. Respect us. Don't put your hands on us. Don't use foul language at us. And sisters, that go for us too. Don't, we don't have to raise our voices. I don't have to scream and holler at you. Give myself an aneurysm. But I'm going to talk to you. If you want to go to this movie, I want to go to that movie, let's compromise. Compromise is another big issue in relationship, Micha. It has to be someone we both have to compromise. It's not give and take, it's give and give.
Yeah.
That's one thing Daddy and I would talk about. We both give to this relationship. Yeah. I want you all to understand that, I had a list, okay?
Right.
Hey, that's the list.
Mm-hmm.
That's the list. I'm throwing my list out the window.
Yeah.
It's gone. I'm done. I'm done having a list.
Right.
I want love. I want genuine love and respect and tenderness. I want fun. I want happiness. I want Jesus in my relationship. I want to respect you. I want to cater to you. All right. I want to cater and you cater to me. I want you to respect my girls. I want you to just embrace my girls now, because I have children, and if you have children, I embrace your children. But the bottom line is timing is everything, Micha. Timing.
But it's the one thing, excuse me for just a second. I remember having a conversation with my mom about, during this time after my father passed. My mom has never been by herself, to be perfectly honest. She's never been by herself. She lived with my grandmother. Then she went off to school, and then she had me. And after she had me, she was in relationships. And then met my dad when I was 10, and they were married all the way up until he passed. There was never a time period when my mom had to be by herself. And as a single woman who goes to cities by herself, who gets in her car and drives to places for hours by herself, who goes to concerts by herself, who goes to the show by herself, who goes out to eat by herself, who does all of these things by myself, I had to look at my mom and I just told her, yo, you need to experience this. You need to experience doing and being by yourself. You need to get comfortable with who you are right now. You need to embrace it. You need to embrace the fear. You need to embrace the sadness, the happiness, the joy, all of it, where you are now, before you start even thinking about spending time with anybody. It was a hard conversation, but I had to have it because, listen, I'm her child, but I'm also a grown woman. And I just talked to her woman to woman. Like, yo, I want you to go travel, see the world, go take a trip by yourself, go out to eat by yourself, enjoy concerts, get to know who Kim, not Dr. Kim, get to know who Kim is, apart from being connected to anyone, any man, anything. Embrace who you are as a woman. And I said that to her because that's where I am in life. Like, I love living by myself. Don't get me wrong. I love my sister, but I cannot wait till she's done with school and I live by myself. I love it. I'm just at that point. Like, I love it. I love coming home and just being me and just embracing who I am. And I mean, I had roommates, but once I didn't have a roommate, I was like, wait, I've gone seasons and not had a relationship. I'm okay. And here's the thing. Don't get it twisted. If I wanted one, I could have one.
Oh, well, sure, for sure. My baby's a beauty.
But I'm just not there.
Mm-hmm.
I am loving where I am. I'm loving who I am. I'm loving whose I am. You know, I want my relationship with Christ. It is not perfect. It probably will never be perfect. I continue to work at it day after day after day. But I'm not about to sit here and work harder for a relationship with a man than I'm working with my relationship with God. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm not about to do. And for those of you all who are spiritually secure, salute to you. But it's an everyday thing for me. It's an everyday conscious effort thing for me. And I know how I am. When I get in relationships, I give my all. I'm talking about I'm in, like I'm so in that sometimes I'll lose myself. And I'm at a point where I got to make sure before I do anything, before I go deep diving, I know that I can deep dive and come back up and still be me.
You know, Mike, I appreciated that hard talk you had. I know I remember that time in my life you speak about, all right, Kina, you know, this is the first time I've lived alone and it's new. And my safety plan has been, you know, what is my safety plan?
Right.
I had to learn to depend on me. You know, I've learned to, you know, love me, you know, because I take care of so many people as a psychologist, as a mom, as a family member, as a friend, as a church member. But I remember when I took that cruise, I took 2 cruises.
Yep.
In 2019, I went to Mexico, all these couples and people. I get on that cruise ship by myself. I had a beautiful luxury suite by myself. And people said, you got all that by yourself? I was by myself. And other people were doing other things. And they said, well, where's Kim? I was gone. I was doing me. I was over here. I was off the ship. I was doing this. But I was always safe. Right. And it was the first time. And when I walked into the cabin, I cried. Because it was the first time being on a cruise without daddy. Yeah. And I cried like a baby. Okay. And it's okay to spend time with yourself. And I explored and I was in Honduras. I was in Mexico. I was in Bahamas. I just did my thing. Then I took another cruise. All right. Remember? Went to Spain. Yeah. And I was in Barcelona and I did all of that. And then my first trip was after daddy was Greece. We went to Europe. We went to Rome and Greece. And we've been to Rome 3 or 4 times. Back and forth to Rome, like going across the street. You know, get on a plane and just explore. Then remember when I went to Dubai? Yep. I went to Dubai. I said, Micha, I'm going to Dubai. I had to shake myself for a minute, okay? And took that 32-hour trip one way to Dubai to understand me and walk in the desert. And I cried. They didn't tell me after I got out of the desert that snakes was up underneath the dirt. Okay. Right. But I got on it. And Micha, I rode a camel. I rode a camel. And I ate and I enjoyed and I fellowshiped with strangers, people. And I learned to discover me. And you know, last year it had been COVID. I would have been in Africa, Israel, and Egypt, and Australia. And I'm going because it is important to know who you are. Take a trip. Do that for you. Doesn't mean that, you know, it's good, it's healthy. And I'm planning to come out there and see my girls. And I'm within a pandemic. I'm being careful. Lakina, you just got back from Cabo and you had a great time. And so I might do a trip to, you know, Cabo or something. I don't know. But I thank you, Micha, for helping me to understand that I needed time with myself. I needed time to embrace my solitude. I needed time to cry. I needed that time, you know, and I thank God, you know, and when God says it's time for me to be with someone, I'm going to embrace that because I'm whole. I'm whole again, Micah. You know, and I'm healthy.
It
Mhm.
comes back to this. If you don't like being with yourself, how do you expect for someone to like being with you?
That's right. Nobody's gonna want to be
You
with you.
can't just be with someone to cover up your mess. Like you just can't. Like you gotta sit in that. You gotta own that. You gotta go through therapy. You gotta take walks. You gotta do and get your body together for you,
Right,
not to
right,
be with anybody or because you trying to meet
right,
the
right,
demands of a man. Meet the
right,
physical demands for yourself.
right.
Like
Micah told me to get back on that treadmill.
I sure
Micah
did.
said, "You get that water," and I've lost. I want to have a report. Went to the doctor today. Lost another 12 pounds. Looking good. The
Awesome.
doctor said.
That's
He
awesome.
said you're toned. You're healthy. You're looking really, really good. He
And you
said,
don't
"Don't
stop. You keep going and
you
you do
keep
it
going, Tony."
right.
Yes, he said no more than 10 more pounds though.
Here's the thing. You could ask for 6 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, 10 figures, all of that. You could have all the money in the world, the man come into your life and be a billionaire, millionaire. But if you don't have your health,
You have
you can't
nothing.
enjoy
Oh,
it.
so many people have told me that
Health is wealth. Health is
health is wealth.
that's what it is. So I say all this to say, take care of you before you even think about a list, before you even think about that man, that woman. Think about yourself. Be selfish and
Come
do
on now.
to make sure that you can handle whatever comes your way so that you can recognize the good, so that you can say, you know what, this is who I deserve. You don't, I hate that man. I don't deserve you. Yes, I do. Because I deserve
Mhm.
if he's the best,
I
I
deserve to have
deserve
you.
the best.
I deserve
And
the
the only
best.
way to know that is if you know who you are.
Mhm.
Man, handle your trauma. Ladies, handle your trauma. It's a relationship guru, I call him, that I often look at his page on Instagram, and he says that when a man has found that she can be trusted with his trauma, he will lay his head and his heart in her lap. Fellas, we already know that you coming with something. Ladies, he should already know that you coming with something, whether it's a carry-on, whether it's 2 carry-ons, whether it's 3 bags, 4 bags, no
Mhm.
bags. You will find and be with someone that can handle all that baggage, but you have to make sure that you do the work.
You got to
Nobody's
do the work.
perfect.
You got to do
Nobody
it.
is perfect.
Right. Do the work. Don't be afraid.
Allow someone the same grace that
Yes.
you will want someone to have with you.
You. Same
Go
grace.
over those lists. Pray over those lists. Do
Yes.
whatever the Spirit leads you to do. If the Spirit is telling you to rip up that list and start fresh with Him, start fresh with and in God.
Mm-hmm.
Because let me tell you something. Once you get that together,
Yes.
you will write another list, and it will be like, wait a minute, I want this. Hold up, and
Hold
then
up.
you know, while
Hold
you
up.
out at the grocery store with your mask on, you may run into somebody, and then you go back home and you say, wait a minute. And if you are not in the right place with God, He is not going to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you are in the right place to meet the man and or woman of your dreams.
Let me say this. Daddy and I, we made a list, and everything that I wanted was not on that list.
You ain't need that.
I didn't need that. And when Daddy told me, he said, he did just like this, Micah. No, no, no. He said, I got bad credit. No. He said, I got $356 in the bank. No. He said, I drive a raggedy car. I'm like, oh, Lord. He said, I have a bachelor's degree. I don't have a master's or a PhD. I was like, I said, okay, did you have, he said, I have a son. I was like, He said, I'm divorced. I was like, And it just, he said, I'm not 7-day Adventist. I'm not a vegan. No, 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 no. But wait, when we got through, he said, now, he did just like this, Micah. He said, he took the list. He said, now.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, now, let's start with a new list.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with a new list. And the list at the top says, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I need you. I respect you. I honor you. I treasure you. And do you know, on the 3rd day of our honeymoon, I laid in his lap.
Mm-hmm.
He read to me a folktale book. And he said, you don't have to be afraid of me.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me all your trauma.
Mm-hmm.
He saw it before, because we dated for 3 years. So he saw the trauma, okay?
And
he said, I can handle it.
Yeah.
And he said, can you handle mine? Knowing that daddy was sick. I knew daddy was sick. And he said, I will call you in 3 days. And I went to the doctors with him and I said, well, how much time does he have to live? He said 6 months, 6 years, 60 years. I don't know. But I made the decision because I was whole. I felt I was whole. That I lay your head in my lap. I got you. Mm-hmm. And I made sure that I carried him. And I know I am able to do that. So I say this and I agree with my daughter. You know, we all bring something, you know, trauma to the table. But be sensitive to that person. Don't think that you are above the law, that you have no issues, no problems, and you all that in the bag of chips and you're perfect. No one is perfect but God. And then if you are not humble enough to see the differences in between you and your spouse, or you and the person you're dating, or the person that you're interested in, or the person you want companionship with, then something is going on with you. But I'm asking you to forgive. I'm asking you to be open. I'm asking you to be tolerant. And I'm asking you to accept them and work through their trauma with them together. Don't walk away. If you can handle it, don't walk away. But be comfortable. Be comfortable in who you are and where you are in your life. Be comfortable. I'm very comfortable in my life. I love my life.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, we gotta go.
We gotta go. Oh my goodness. Oh, we could go on another hour. So we gotta bring this back, Micha.
We appreciate everyone, you know, comments and commentary. You know, join us next couple of weeks. We'll be back again. We might talk about this. We may go a little deeper. We may not talk about something else. But before we leave, I do want to just encourage everyone to please be safe. We are still very much in a pandemic.
Yes.
Please wear your mask, no matter if you're vaccinated or not. If you're not vaccinated and you want to get vaccinated, do what you got to do for you. Don't get the opinions of others. Just do what you got to do, your own research. Take care of your health. If you're feeling like you don't want to get vaccinated, the least you could do is make sure that you're taking care of your immune system by making sure that you're taking your vitamins daily. More than anything, please respect the guidelines of your city and or state, and respect the guidelines for yourself. Again, please wear your mask. Do not be out here maskless. And it is okay to say no to going to certain events where you believe that there'll be too many people. Protect your space, protect your home, protect your family, protect yourselves. We've had too many deaths in 2020. We've had way too many in 2021. We want to make sure that you stay here, stay well, and we want you to make sure that you live to be well.
Yo, I love that. I love that. And I want to say, you know, my birthday is coming up, September the 5th. And I've already made plans to go to a concert by myself and enjoy that concert. Amen. Right. And I'm going to, you know, do what I need to do. And Aunt Green, I'm going to get with you too and do some things with you. Listen, love on you. We love you. We bless you. And listen, remember to live to be well. I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin, East Side, Detroit, all the way on the West Side now. And
I'm ML6 Logan. I'm just living in LA.
She living in LA. Come on, somebody. All right. My babies are living in LA, their best lives. Live your best life. Be good to yourself. Love yourself. Treasure yourself. Honor God. Be faithful to God, and He will be faithful to you. Don't allow yourself to be put on the back burner. You are important. You are important. And Dr. Kim and ML6, we love you. Until next time, God bless you and live to be well. Good night.
Good night.
Live to be well with Dr. Kim.